Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, groomer Joey Villani, news director Lori Brooks. And now, from the Red Barn Studios, here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Another absolutely incredible show is on the way. So
Stupendous, right?
Stupendous. At least that's what we're hoping right now. That's what we're shooting for. You've booked an amazing show. Besides your calls, we will be talking to Pastor Travis Davis. And Travis Davis, Pastor Travis Davis, or Pastor Davis, I guess I should call him. He is genius idea. Lori and I were just talking about this a few minutes ago. He has created an organization that will take care of your pets after the big rapture happens. And I'm not sure when that's scheduled or really much about it. But
is the rapture a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing.
Is it?
Is it a bad thing, Lori?
No, it's a good thing.
Oh, it's a good thing.
If you believe in Christ.
Okay.
It's a bad thing if you don't.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Joey, of course, you're very religious. You go to church, twice a week? Is that true?
Sometimes, at least once a week. But
Okay.
you know what? Yeah, don't worry. I'll look over. I'll peek down on you guys when it happens. Make sure that you guys are somewhat, okay. And I'll check on the animals too.
Okay. Well, he says that he has a service that will take care of your animals when this rapture happens.
If you're a non-believer.
If you're off to the rapture.
That's
if you're
right.
a non-believer, then you end up taking care of the animals.
Okay.
That's according to the great pastor. He's on the way in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio. But even more exciting news this hour before the pastor. We're going to talk to Shawn Simons. She is the headmistress of the Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats. We've had her on before. They're a wonderful organization in the Los Angeles area doing some great work and rescue work for the animals. And I don't know if you saw the news, but they have just funded a butthole replacement. This is...
What?
Yeah.
What?
There's a small little kitty. What is his name? No, Cluck is the name of the kitty. I have no idea how the... Little kitten, size of my palm, born without a butthole. And
Did we just say anus, maybe?
Okay, born without an anus.
Wow, this show has went to new heights today. Go ahead.
They raised $10,000 to give this cat a new butthole, new anus. And now, comedian Tosh Point0, for those that watch Tosh Point0, he's trying to raise $1 million for 2,000 buttholes. We're going to find out all about this.
Where do you get your...
This
I
does
can't
sound
wait
like a
for
good
this.
cause, though. There's something that's going to happen good for animals because of this.
Yeah.
Is this really a big problem?
Apparently it is a big problem. But we're gonna find out more about it this hour. Let me just say, if you even are thinking about changing the dial right now, you should see a therapist. No, if you stay, you should see a therapist.
Yeah, what's more like it?
Okay, let's go to the phones. We're all standing on the other side of the studio today. Dr. Debbie, just a little sick. There's a little bit of, what is it you got? Sore throat?
Just a little cold bug. Yeah. People, somebody said that, dogs are dirty and cats are messy and all this and that. And I'm like, you know what? People are the filthiest things at all. I see a snotty kid come into my office and I'm just like plastered against the door.
Oh, poor gal. Well, drink your OJ and answer this call. Who are we going to? Veronica. Hi, Veronica.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Where are you today?
Rosemead?
In the Los Angeles area.
Yes, Los Angeles area.
How can we help you? We got the whole team here for you.
Oh, okay. So the problem I have is I have a cat that we've had for maybe between 7 and 9 years now. Pretty healthy cat, haven't had issues, kind of picky though. But we moved to a new place, and he seems to be, he likes to poop in front of the door, and I have carpets. So I've actually removed all of my carpets, and now I have plastic mats.
Okay.
He is only an indoor cat, doesn't ever go outside, but we have a lot of feral cats in the area. So I've tried all different things, the pepper, the cayenne, the spray they sell at Home Depot. I've tried it all, and it just seems like he's always doing it there. So I didn't know if there was something else that I can do for him. He's got a clean litter.
Yeah.
Right in front of the door.
Okay, and then tell me about what is his litter box environment like? How many boxes does he have? What's going on in the boxes themselves?
Just one litter box. And we've moved it from the dining room and we put it in the kitchen because it's closer to the door. Every now and then he'll also will poop in the kitchen, but it's mainly in the front door. And we figured it was because of the feral cats.
Okay, and what does the poop look like? Is it solid? Is there any looseness to it?
It's actually loose. Sometimes it's watery, like diarrhea almost. But we changed his food about 2 months ago, and we also got infested with fleas inside the house. We've treated that. He was treated completely, so we don't have that issue. But they were coming from outside. So I didn't have issues with him at all. So I was like, no.
And is he the only pet in the home?
Yes, he is. And he's spoiled.
Of course. That's the important part of the equation there.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming he stays indoors?
Indoors all the time, yes.
Okay. So, all right. So a couple things that I'm going to advise for you. We definitely have the outdoor cat effect, which we'll kind of address in a moment. But the initial things that I'm going to tell you to do is I'd really like to work on his indoor litter box environment.
Okay.
When cats poop out of the box, the first thing I always look for is, if it's a perfectly healthy, normal stool and it's happening on a regular frequency of, cats are pooping once a day, then I'd say, okay, maybe we're going to really look at something behavioral. But in this instance, you're describing a loose stool to diarrhea. Yeah. So my first thing is going to be that I think it's imperative that we do a good vet check on your kitty and to bring an actual stool sample to the veterinarian, because we want to check for parasites first and foremost. Just to make sure we don't have something like that. So when we have diarrhea or the stools are loose in some fashion, we don't always have the same capacity to hold the poop, or I should say your kitty doesn't have the same capacity to hold it. So there's an urgency that can hit kind of willy-nilly when he's walking about the house. So we need to address the medical side of this before we can say, oh, this is just because of those cats outside. So for me, diarrhea means going to see the vet and trying to address that aspect of things. It might be medication. It might be a diet change. It might be nothing at all. It could be stress, but I do think we have to address that aspect. Then for the other things for him in the home that I do is really to actually give him more opportunities for litter boxes. And when cats are failing in their litter box use, the place I put a litter box is the place that they're failing. So what is horrible as it is, temporarily, I would want you to put litter boxes in those areas that he keeps repeatedly pooping in. Because if he selected that spot, we're going to oblige him. And we're going to say, okay, if that's where you want to go, this is how I want you to do it. And you offer him a fabulous looking clean litter box that you scoop twice a day and make sure you don't add any fragrances, any kind of deodorizers to that, because there are some cats that'll throw them off their box. They may not like it. We like it, but they don't really care for it.
Yeah, he don't care for it.
So try to make it happen. And I'd like to see maybe keep the original box, but put 2 other ones in those problem locations where he's going. Give him that opportunity. And then from there, we have the outdoor cats. And, try as much as you can to try to limit the exposure. So if you can close windows or blinds, try to keep the visual access of those kitties away. It's hard to drive cats away that are outdoors because they're also drawn towards the scent of your cat as you're leaving. They're smelling your cat inside. They're smelling the scent of your cat as you're walking out the door and you're treading and leaving those scent marks. So they know there's another cat there. So what you can try are some of the different deterrents. And, there's all sorts of things depending on the climate at where you're at and what you can use. There are motion active deterrents that in nice warm weather, there are some that are sprinklers that are activated by motion. So when the kitty treads across the little eye of the motion activated sensor, then your sprinkler goes off and gets them wet. And it's a kind of a deterrent. It doesn't hurt them, but it makes it so that they don't want to come in the area. There are also some that have compressed air that work in the same way and kind of give that kind of sound as they kind of tread in the area. That's one thing. And then there's the other things. Some people will put things like citrus peels outside as a way of trying to deter cats or wildlife because they find the scent of them offensive. It may work. I can't say that it's a proven thing that is always going to work for every situation, but you can certainly try, putting some citrus peels outside in the area by the front door. And then, make sure you're not leaving any kind of food items outside. Sounds like your kitty's indoors, but if you have a dog or neighbors have animals, that's the other thing that brings the kitties around. So making sure that opportunity isn't there for those strays to come around your front door. And then hopefully with all of that, we can get your kitty to set some good patterns going in the box where they're at right now in these new locations. And then you can gradually try to slide those litter boxes back into a location that's more appropriate and more tolerable for you. And you may need to keep multiple boxes out for your kitty from here forward, but the hope is that you won't have to live with them at your front door. That's the long-term expectation there.
Well, by golly, this healthy serving of Animal Radio is brought to you by Red Barn. And during these uncertain times, Red Barn is grateful for the consistent love and joy our pets bring into our lives. Now diligently working alongside their pet parents, your dog deserves a break in between video chat appearances and lap sitting. Red Barn Chews are the natural way to distract your dog during the day or give their paws a break from typing up emails. And thank you, Red Barn, for underwriting Animal Radio. Next hour, this is ripe. The Rapture could be just around the corner.
I'm confused.
I don't quite myself understand the whole Rapture thing or when it's going to happen. But if it does happen, what happens to your pets? What if you're just enveloped in this Rapture thing? And again, I don't know much about it.
Don't your pets go with you?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't a pet go with you?
Apparently, that's not the way it works, ladies.
Well, that's got to be fixed. That's all I got to say.
Well, then I don't want to go.
Pastor Travis Davis will be on to tell us how he can help you with your pets and take care of your pets after the big rapture. That's all.
Might I suggest to you guys that you read the book series Left Behind?
Really? Is it?
And then not sleep for about 4 years.
No, thank you.
I don't know much about. Do you know much about the Rapture?
Mostly from what I read in that book series. It was a great book series, but it was scarier than doo-doo. After about the 8th one, I was like, I can't go on with this anymore.
Judy, you have some question as to what the Rapture is.
Yeah, I'm not religious. I really don't understand the Rapture. I don't know if it's good, bad, ugly.
We're going to find out what this whole Rapture thing is about and what will happen to our animals when the Rapture comes. That's just about an hour away.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is Park Overall. I am just thrilled about Animal Radio. Please, spay and neuter your animals. Please.
You love your dog. Is something bothering him or her and you can't figure out what it is? Maybe they seem slow or lethargic, and maybe they just don't have energy. Wouldn't you like your dog to be living their very best life? PetJoy offers a money-back guarantee on all of its products. If your dog won't eat it or you don't see the results you want, just let us know and we'll make it right. Totally risk-free. What do you have to lose? You can't buy PetJoy multivitamins in a store. The only way you can get them is through this unique radio offer. And if you call right now, learn how to get 2 bottles free with your order. Turn your dog's life around and make him or her a happy camper. Ain't that right, boy? He said call PetJoy right now. 800-451-1359. 800-451-1359. 800-451-1359. That's 800-451-1359.
Hi, this is Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family. I'm on Animal Radio. Adopt a pet.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Found us, Animal Radio. This is where we celebrate the connection with your pets, and we are off to a prime start. We have some great guests coming up that I think they fit in perfectly. In about 10 minutes, we're going to talk to Shawn Simons. You may remember her. She was on before. She runs the the Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats, which is a rescue in the Los Angeles area. And what is she up to lately? Well, she is crowdsourcing or crowdfunding buttholes.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
What a pain.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. You probably have a lot of questions, and that's why I encourage you to just stick around for another 10 more minutes, at least, to hear Shawn Simons from the Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats. Lori, what are you working on over there in the newsroom?
Medical marijuana for pets.
Is that what you're doing in there?
Probably a good day for it.
Of course. That's all anybody does anymore.
Right. I mean, it's huge for humans, but when it comes to pets, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, a part of the federal government, says, look, folks, we call this the extracts in medical or any kind of marijuana, CBD or THC, they are, according to the federal government, illegal Schedule I drugs. And so all of these places that were doing research on marijuana for dogs or any kind of pet product, they've all gone, oh, no, we don't want to have anything to do with drugs, so it's hands off until the government gets its story straight. But we'll tell you one cool study that is continuing, despite what the government says.
And let's go to Blaine. Hey, Blaine, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
I'm near Effingham, Illinois.
Oh, okay. Are you a truck driver?
Yes.
Okay, on the road. Do you take your pet with you? You travel with your dog?
No, I don't.
Okay, I got the doctor here. What's up?
Well, hey.
Hi. My doctor, Bo, he's overweight, but he'll like drink a lot of liquids and he like swells up and he looks like he retains water or something. And then when you and then recently he started like wetting the bed where he lays and stuff. He doesn't mean to, because he'll be like on the step and then he'll get up and it's wet.
Okay.
So I don't know what his problem is. If he's lost bladder control or what it is.
Yeah. And in male dogs, bladder control problems are not real common as the sole cause of urine leakage. Female dogs, sometimes we do see that they can have some sphincter problems, some leaky bladder problems, but it's pretty rare in male dogs. So for me, when I find out of a male dog that's leaking urine in any context, especially if it's accompanied with drinking more or peeing large volumes of urine, that would warrant a veterinary visit, and I would check a urine sample and probably some blood as well. The things that the things that we're really going to be looking for are going to be conditions that cause your baby to drink more, things like diabetes, kidney concerns, liver concerns, and, retaining water. Sometimes we think about heart disease, but usually there would be other symptoms that I'd be focused on and looking at. But I would definitely say, yeah.
He does have trouble with hair loss, but he's a dachshund. I've heard that's common.
That he doesn't have what? I'm sorry?
He does have hair loss also, but he's had that for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that might be something that can kind of tie things together. So for me, if I find out a dog is kind of losing hair, maybe getting a little pot-bellied and having excessive urinations, we might look at some hormone problems like Cushing's disease. So that
okay.
So that might be something else to put on the whole differential when you see the veterinarian. But I definitely would say, I can tell you certainly you need to get this baby in, at least do some baseline screening on him and find out the underlying cause.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for your call, Blaine. And we're waiting here for your call at Animal Radio.
You sizzling hot.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Who let the dogs out?
Alan Cable, hi.
After a minute, we'll take his cone off.
I don't know, I might start biting my tail. Here comes your dog watch. They've got all kinds of dogs down there at the shelter.
Fixed, hips removed.
But then it happened, something Barbara'd never seen before.
Saw his picture, so I said, sure, we'll take him.
Adam the dog has got a strange problem.
Took him in for a blood test.
Guess what? Adam the dog has allergies. But guess what he's allergic to?
Humans.
Now there's a new one. A dog that's allergic to people.
Seriously?
I know, Barbara was speechless too.
I didn't believe her at first. I thought she was kidding. She said, no, just like we can be allergic to dogs, he is allergic to human dander.
Guess what? Adam's going to get allergy shots just like people do.
The vet seems to think we can fix him, and he starts on allergy shots this week.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. A little dog in Flint, Michigan has found a new friend who is changing her life forever. Rex Miller lost a leg when he tried to jump a train when he was only 15 years old. Miller now owns the Greater Flint Prosthetic Center, where he usually makes artificial limbs for humans. Miller made Peg's new leg for free because her owner works for a non-profit organization that trains leader dogs for the blind. Peg will eventually be trained to be a service dog and will probably be working at a nursing home because she seems to be a big hit with the senior citizens. Miller said he just wants everyone to know that there's an option out there for animals as well as humans. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
People say less is more. At Red Barn, we think less is better. It's what you won't find that sets our natural premium pet food apart. No byproducts, no corn or soy, no fillers. Just the natural ingredients your pets need to live the healthy life they deserve. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Try our chicken rolled food as a meal or shredded as a topper.
Hi, this is Bob Barker on Animal Radio, reminding you to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Lori Brooks. Amazon has launched Pet Profiles, which means that you can now add your pets to your Amazon account.
Wait a second. Can they shop for us, too? I mean, will they be using my credit card? I'd be a little concerned about this whole thing.
No, they can't use your credit card.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But they just become a member of this official clubhouse.
Okay.
And there will be some perks, too, as Amazon makes this big move toward owning an even bigger share of the pet world. Now, after you sign up your first pet, you get a 20% one-time discount on your next pet food order. Now, that's a gimmick. They're trying to get you in the door. So let's be honest here. This is not a commercial for Amazon, but, it could be a very good deal. And everyone wants to save money on pet care. So we just want you to know that this savings is out there.
Information and data. That's what today's society is all about.
So, now you just ruined the whole thing for me. Now, to sign up, you're asked your pet's name, their age, and breed. It's your choice if you want to post a picture or not. And there's also options for different types of reptiles, fish, and birds, too. And you can even register your horse. Well, people anxious to relieve their pet's physical pain are more and more trying out oils and powders that contain CBDs. Yeah, it's the non-psychoactive component of marijuana, but there's little data on whether or not these products work or if they have harmful side effects. There's a lot to know, and right now we just don't know it. Now, the reason we don't is because the federal government has not approved any clinical trials of cannabis pet products. The Drug Enforcement Administration announced just last year that even marijuana extracts, those with CBD or THC, it's another component of marijuana. That is the THC is the intoxicating component. The DEA announced last year that they are actually an illegal Schedule I drug. So when they said that, it was like almost everyone, whoa, kind of like a cooking show, time's up, hands off. Nobody wanted to touch it at that point. The University of Pennsylvania halted then its clinical trials, but Colorado State University, the opposite, still pushing ahead with their research of 24 dogs that are enrolled in the school's study of canine arthritis. Now, the dogs are given either CBD oil or placebo, and then activity monitors are attached to the pet's collar to determine if they're mobile or more mobile when they are actually taking the CBD versus the placebo. But the government, through the Food and Drug Administration, is warning companies. This is another setback for any research here. Warning companies that sell any marijuana-related pet products that they are violating federal laws by offering unapproved new animal drugs to the public, and they are threatening legal action to those who continue to do so. So what do vets think about this? Well, right now, the American Veterinary Medical Association is working on an official policy towards marijuana-related pet products, but one of its committees wants the Drug Enforcement Administration to declassify marijuana as a Schedule I drug so that we can proceed with this and facilitate more research opportunities. I'm Lori Brooks. You can get more breaking animal news anytime you need it at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Hey, don't forget, you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Download it now. It's made possible by Fear-Free Pets, taking the pet out of petrified. Visit them at fearfreehappyhomes.com.
Hi, this is Brandon McMillan on Animal Radio, and be sure to adopt and not shop.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets. And in about an hour, we're going to talk to Pastor Travis Davis. Is that his last name?
Yes.
Pastor Travis Davis, who will take care of your pets after the rapture. And don't ask your questions now. Just
so many questions, so little time.
Yes. But first, and I think this is an even more important story. We're going to talk to Shawn Simons. We've talked to her before. She's from the Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats in Los Angeles, doing some great rescue work down there. And they just finished funding and helping with a surgery, a really important surgery. It was a butthole surgery. Lori's been trying to
please
anus. An anus replacement is basically what it was. They raised $10,000 for a little kitten named Cluck. And we welcome Shawn to the show. Hi, Shawn.
Hi. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course. Well, this is very important news. Tell us a little bit about Cluck. How did Cluck even get that name?
Oh, well, it's actually, we try and name our cats appropriately.
Sure.
And this little kitten that didn't have a butthole, we named her Cluck after chickens who have a cloaca, which is they just have one opening where they do all their business out of it. So that's how she started. And then the rest of her litter got other barnyard names.
So what was exactly wrong with Cluck?
Cluck didn't have a butthole.
It just was born that way?
Yeah. We actually we run a medical intern training program here. We do a lot of kids that are in college that are looking to go into veterinary or human medicine. And I had one of our young interns do the check-in of Cluck when she came in, and she was probably about 5 days old, and they're super, super tiny. And for check-in, we weigh them and we get their temperature. And she came to me and said that she couldn't get Cluck's temperature because Cluck didn't have a butthole. And I thought, oh, you new intern, silly, tiny, you don't understand. And sure enough, there was no butthole. It's called an imperforated anus.
So up to this point, where had this small kitten been defecating?
Yeah.
Her vagina.
Really? Okay, this is all very weird.
Wow.
Yes. Agreed. Part of the reason I think that she was able to survive, and she came with her mommy, is that a lot of times if cats aren't able to use their systems well and properly, you'll see that for like crystals. I'm nervous. I'm talking with a doctor on there, so I'm nervous to say anything. But that they can build up toxicity, which is really bad for them. But because she was at this point just having pure mama's milk, we weren't dealing with any outside chemicals and things, so it was pretty pure.
Doctor, who's been very quiet, unusually quiet.
I'm so jealous. I love kind of oddities of nature. So Kitty has Atresia ani. So there's different categories of this. Some just have like a little bit of a outpoaching issue. Others completely have the lack of the connection of things. And this isn't terribly uncommon. We do see it. I'm just jealous because I haven't seen one for a while, and it's really cool.
You're so weird.
Next time we'll call you first.
Yay.
We actually, she had the toughest one, of course, and we just had to do a second surgery. So I don't know if you saw, but Tosh 2.0 picked this up, and he asked his viewers to help us raise enough money for 100 buttholes. He thought that would be fun. Well, we've done 2 so far, and we're hoping this is the last. So we're still funding it for her continued care, but it was interesting. One of the reasons that we did this, and we're not an organization that does a lot of like really wild, super expensive, risky surgeries. That's not what we're about. But she was so vibrant. She is so vibrant. And actually the reason she had to have a second surgery, and this was fascinating to me, is because she was so healthy. That's really where it became a problem. Her body was developing scar tissue where they did the surgery, because a body heals by scarring over. And so she scarred over her first butthole. So we had to make her another one. And we're starting to think maybe she really likes the limelight and all the attention.
So how do you keep the second one from not scarring over?
Okay, this is going to get graphic. I'll try and use my not too graphic terms, but if anybody's eating breakfast right now, sit down. So originally we kept her poo super, super soft. And because of that, it could just kind of leak out almost anywhere. So this time around, we are tamping down on that and having her create an actual poo that she will have to dilate to push out, and that will help keep the scar tissue from scarring over. And we're actually doing many more follow-ups with the surgeon to keep a much closer eye on it.
Dr. Debbie, would you like some more eggnog?
Hey, this is dinner conversation for me.
Okay, we are with Shawn Simons. She just crowdfunded a butthole for a little kitten. And I still have so many questions. Stick around.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
People say less is more. At Red Barn, we think less is better. It's what you won't find that sets our natural premium pet food apart. No byproducts, no corn or soy, no fillers. Just the natural ingredients your pets need to live the healthy life they deserve. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Try our grain-free rolled food. It's protein-packed with less risk of food sensitivity.
It's Animal Radio, and if you just tuned in, we are with Shawn Simons with the Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats, a wonderful organization out of the Los Angeles area. She just raised $10,000 for a butthole, I'm sorry, Lori, anus, for a little kitten that didn't have one. And you've heard about this, Dr. Debbie.
And it's fun. I'm sorry. Interesting. With some of the kitties that have this, there's a procedure called bouginage where, we basically can put a little balloon in and just kind of repeatedly kind of stretch the areas to kind of break down some of the scar tissue and to try to kind of loosen the sphincter so that we can allow things to pass through. So I kind of wonder if they're going to be doing any of that associated with some of the stricturing that she's having currently.
She just came back from her check yesterday, and they did put a catheter in, and they're able to keep that area space and open. But I didn't ask if she had a bouginage. I'm afraid that sounds.
It's a
really
great word.
expensive.
If they put a catheter in, then there's inherently a balloon in there, and they may have just inflated the balloon to kind of stretch the area, and that's a kind of a gentle way to kind of try to open things up with repeated dilations that can help to kind of stretch the area and allow things to move through. So,
how much more expensive is a bouginage? Sounds
well, it's French,
Yeah.
It's French. It's French, so it has to be special. No. It's not anything more. Technically, surgery is far more challenging. The bouginage is just more of a treatment. And like I said, you may just ask and say, hey, is that what y'all did? Because if they did put a catheter in, they are making some efforts to try to then stretch that.
Dr. Debbie, is this pretty common? How often does this occur? And I'm assuming it occurs in dogs, too, and other animals?
It does. I'd have to say I see it more in kittens, and it usually does start to become more apparent as kittens are becoming weaned. And typically, I always kind of blame it on the mom, because mom does such a great job of cleaning and stimulating kittens that when they're out of the picture, then we're left to kind of doing our own toileting and cleaning and all of that. And that's when most of these kittens would, present to us. And it does tend to be a little bit more in female cats, too, I have to say. There is some tendency towards that.
If I were you, I would not blame this on the mother. She's feral, and she's not going to take that well.
No, I'm not blaming Mama. I'm just saying she's doing her job, and had she not been in the picture, then that's when it usually comes up here and a little bit quicker.
It's always the mother's fault.
It's the first time we've seen it, and we have at this point done intake on about 1,800 kittens. Wow. So it was new to us.
Holy moly. Okay, well, if people want to fund a butthole, they can head on over to kittybungalow.org, and we'll put links to everything you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.pet. Shawn, we always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Take care of yourself now. Let's go back to phones.
Hi, who is this?
Talking with me?
I'm talking to you. You're talking to me? I'm talking to you.
I'm not talking to you. Okay, I'm Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Where are you calling?
Right now I'm calling in from Maryland. When I called you originally, I was in Arizona.
You get around.
Yeah.
You a driver?
I drive a big truck.
You drive a big truck. Oh, I love lady drivers.
Oh, this is so much fun. I retired from my original career, and now I'm on vacation and getting paid for it.
What was your original career?
Registered nurse.
Do you like this better?
Well, I did nursing for 30 years, and I like that great. But after 30 years, I needed a change, and I love this because I've been doing it for 3 years, and I've seen the entire country and Canada.
And getting paid to do it.
And getting paid to do it.
Oh, you got to love it.
And I get Teddy with me.
Teddy?
Teddy. He's a half Shih Tzu and half miniature Cocker Spaniel.
Does he like traveling with you?
He loves it. He's been, I'm really disappointed that I never had a dog before this. Because he is such a love.
You just found out about that, huh?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, tell your friends to get an animal.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will. I called you initially because Teddy has a ritual that he does, and I know it's got to mean something, but I don't know what it means. If he's given a treat, or if he finds a particular piece of food, I don't know when he likes it or doesn't like it, but he'll touch the tip of his nose to it, back off 4 inches, touch the floor, touch the food, touch the floor. He'll do that 3 or 4 times. Then he takes it and carries it to his bed and buries it. Now, I don't know whether he goes back and eats it or not. I think he does, but I've found like 4 or 5 treats in there. What does that mean?
So you don't really know if Teddy's eating these treats later on in the day?
No, not later on in the day because, I've found, like I said, 4 or 5 days afterward. Yeah,
so you're finding the uneaten treats down the road.
Right.
Does that kind of behavior go back to the beginnings of canines foraging and hiding their food?
It certainly can be. One way we could interpret that behavior is that, he's kind of taking what's his and he's hiding it for a later date. I'm assuming he's the only dog in your truck.
Yes.
You don't have other dogs with him?
No.
So it's not necessarily a competition type thing. It's just probably a way that he's kind of being a dog in his maybe somewhat close environmental situations. And there could be some psychological interpretation that, maybe he thinks because, the road is moving, he has to make sure there's food accessible. And it's hard to kind of understand how much dogs reason and kind of are reasoning through a situation like this. But I could totally make a case where he might be thinking, I want to make sure I got this little snack later and don't know where I'm going to be. This might just be kind of a normal little quirk with your little fella.
1-866-405-8405. Judy and I were just thinking about the dog. It was
his name was Donnie, and he was a Doberman Pinscher.
Yes, and he would line up his toys out in the backyard, and he would line them up according to categories with colors and the types of toys. If there was a stuffed animal that was a monkey, he would put them with the other monkeys.
My own childhood dog, we did some interesting things. I used to think he had a great ability to pick out his favorite treats. I'd line up 7 treats in a row, and I'd let him smell and lick each one. It looked like he was reasoning through which one he wanted, and he'd get to pick one treat. It's never the same one. He always kind of went and considered each one. So, we don't know what's going up in those little heads of theirs.
This is Animal Radio. You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
All of us here at Fido Friendly Magazine can't wait to get on the road again with our favorite Fido. We know that it's just not a vacation without our furry companions by our side. Start daydreaming now and visit FidoFriendly.com to scout out places near and far so you will be ready for your next adventure once it's safe to travel. That's FidoFriendly.com. Until then, stay safe and leave no dog behind.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, groomer Joey Villani, news director Lori Brooks. And now, from the Red Barn Studios, here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
If you just tuned in, you missed the big butthole surgery interview that we had last hour. And I encourage you to head over to our website or to download the Animal Radio app and listen to it again. It's interesting. It's about a kitten that had a butthole surgery. And you've heard about this before, Dr. Debbie, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it before. It's a kind of a rare congenital defect that dogs and cats can be born with.
Without.
Or without.
Or without, yes.
So, but let me tell you, it gets better from here on out. In a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Pastor Travis Davis, and he has a brand new organization called Pets After Rapture.com, and he will take care, for a fee, he will take care of your pets after the rapture. Is this anything you've ever thought about, Dr. Debbie?
No, because my dogs are going with me.
They're going with you.
Not meaning I'm going to kill them, but where I'm going, my animals are also going to be welcome because that's my heaven.
Okay. Lori, what are you working on for this hour?
Well, think of all the things that a pet will eat, especially dogs. They seem to be the worst. They open up their belly and they find, whatever in there. Well, this doctor does this surgery. And no fair, Dr. Debbie, you probably already read about it, but they found 21 of this one thing inside this dog's belly. 21 of them, I know. We'll tell you what it was.
That's on the way. Let's go to the phones.
I believe we have Steve on the line.
Yes, you do.
Hi, Steve. Where are you calling from today?
Well, right now I'm in North Dakota. I'm a truck driver on the road.
Okay. You're on with Dr. Debbie.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Dr. Debbie. Yeah, I was calling to. My wife's got a yellow lab. It's a pretty large yellow lab. It weighs about 95 pounds. About 3-4 years ago, it had some hip problems, and the doctor that we had told her to give it one glucosamine tablet a day, and we did that, and that really helped with the hip. Now, I noticed the last time I was home, when the dog wanted to, we live in a 2-story house, when it wanted to crawl up the stairs, it's starting to have problems with that left hip again. And we've always continued with that one tablet, but I was wondering if we could increase that or if there's something else we should look at.
And how old is he?
I believe that she's had him for maybe 7 years. And I believe he was probably close to a year old when we got him.
Okay. And overall, throughout his lifetime, has he been a pretty active fella? Has he kept up with that throughout his life?
Very active. He loves chasing balls and stuff, and whatever he does at full speed. That's how he injured his hip the first time, was chasing a ball down a hill and then trying to put the brakes on and stop. And something he did with his doing that, he injured his hip and was not able to walk for about without pain for about a week or two. So the vet that told her, just to keep him quiet for a while, and it really was pretty good. But I just noticed the other night, like I said, he isn't complaining or whining or anything when he's crawling the steps, but you could see by the time he's getting to the top step, his left leg is he's starting to try to carry that a little bit.
Okay. Now, when you went, did you take him to the veterinarian? Did they do any x-rays? Has he actually been diagnosed with hip problems?
Well, see, with me being gone all the time, she took him to the vet, and I'm sure they did do the hip or the x-rays. And it was recommended that from the doctor to start this glucosamine tablet daily with him.
Okay. The reason I ask that is there's a lot of other things that we can sometimes misinterpret as hip problems, especially in a very large active dog like a Labrador. And hip problems, some of the early signs of hip problems that you might see at home would be what we call bunny hopping, where a dog kind of moves their back legs together like a rabbit jumping. And that's something we can see actually in very young dogs with hip dysplasia. And then certainly we'll see limping or favoring or slowness getting up or down. But because there are some of these other problems like knee injuries and dogs, oh my gosh, Labradors, injure their knee a lot, and it's kind of like a football player type injury. So we just want to make sure we're sure of the type of injury, because there's different things we might do for those things. But if we are definitively dealing with a hip problem, glucosamine, the supplement that you've mentioned, is definitely one of the first line things we can try to help out a pet with osteoarthritis. It is a natural type supplement, and it helps to promote healthy joint fluid. It decreases inflammation, and that results in less pain for our pets.
Okay.
And you mentioned that worked for him pretty well. How long had he been on that?
I would say he's been on it about 3 years, one tablet. Is that enough? Do you feel one tablet a day?
It'll definitely depend on the size or the milligram dosage on the glucosamine. For a dog his size, I might want to make sure you're given somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of glucosamine.
1,500 to 2,000.
Yeah, and there's different sizes. If you use human forms, they'll come in about 500 milligrams. Some dog products will be in 1,000 milligrams. So you just got to make sure you look at the numbers there.
It's a dog. She gets it at one of the pet stores, and I'm thinking it maybe is about 1,000.
In addition to that, there's a lot of great medications out there to help our pets with arthritis pain. And I would definitely make sure you speak to your veterinarian. There's some really good ones out there, Medicam, Duramax, Rimadyl. A lot of these types of medicines can, if you've already tried the glucosamine, it's helped, but we're kind of losing ground there. You might want to see about looking into those, because those are very helpful for pets that the first tier of the supplements don't quite help them out enough. We have to be cautious with that. We want to make sure we follow blood work and make sure the pet's in good health while they're on that. But that might be something that I would really see about doing at this point, and see if that might help him out a little bit more with his mobility.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you, Steve, is as far as our weight, because we know weight plays a huge factor when we're dealing with any orthopedic problems. So making sure mild, low-intensity exercise, we get that extra fat, get that extra hip weight off these Labradors who tend to be a little thick around the middle. That, too, would be very important.
He isn't overweight at all. He's just a very large dog. In fact, if you look at him from the back, looking at his chest and his hip, they're all very proportionate. There is no widening of the body or anything. So he's a very proportionate built dog. He's just very large.
Good. That's good. That's so important. And these guys, they are so active. And a lot of these problems, they'll catch up with them at some point. So keep them fit, keep them lean. And it sounds like you're along the right path here as far as controlling and managing his discomfort. So I hope that's some help for you, Steve. And thank you so much for calling here today. This is Dr. Debbie.
Hi, Joanne. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing fine today. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Clinton, Iowa.
Clinton, Iowa. Okay.
I listen to KROS.
Oh, well, we love those guys over there. You have such a sweet voice, too. I like that. You probably hear that all the time, though.
You.
So how can we help you today?
Well, I have been, I live in a village cooperative, and I feed the dogs that are here. And one person said their dog died from canine carryout.
Canine
I see
carryout?
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Now, is this in reference to something that's been circulating in social media by any chance?
Yes, it is. And I'm wondering, is that so? That is not truthful, is it?
I have not. No. What are you guys talking about?
Okay, so there's a story that was posted on someone's Facebook page where they were cautioning people on the antifreeze that is in the product, the dog treat called Canine Carryouts. And what it is, it's misinformation, unfortunately. I'm so glad that you called about this, because this is an opportunity to dispel bad information that you find out on the internet. So it is true that the product does contain a product called propylene glycol. And propylene glycol is FDA approved. It is a food additive. It's also in cosmetics. It's in different drugs. But it is not the same thing as ethylene glycol, which is the toxic antifreeze. So that's the totally different type of product. And actually, in a lot of the pet-friendly antifreeze products, you'll find propylene glycol for that reason, because it's the safer choice than
ethylene glycol, which is the bad one. So no, I would have to say that, while there may be propylene glycol in canine carryouts, it does not cause the type of kidney problems that we see in typical antifreeze.
Is it? I mean, you don't give them so much at one time. Is that correct? It's more of like a treat for the animal.
Right. And, the amounts of propylene glycol that we would find either in our food products or in an animal product are very, very low. And while there can be certainly some concerns for people that, might have, allergies, eczema, or if they consumed a large amount of it, the small amount that we acquire in our food products is really negligible and of no concern. And I think it would have to be, there's been some toxicity studies where you'd have to have over 5% of your total food intake to include propylene glycol. So we're talking, this is a very low level compound. So, so I wouldn't be scared by that.
Is that right? Okay.
No. And I think
I'm glad to know that.
This has been a problem or a concern that kind of falsely has been out there for years with other pet food products where someone got on it and just kind of mistook the ingredient. And it is easy. Propylene glycol, ethylene glycol sounds so similar, but very different types of molecular structures, and they really just very different in how they could affect the body. So.
Okay.
Thanks for calling Joanne from listening on KROS in Clinton, Iowa. This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Red Barn. And during these uncertain times, Red Barn is grateful for the consistent love and joy our pets bring into our lives. Now diligently working alongside their pet parents, your dog deserves a break in between those video chat sessions and lap sitting. Red Barn chews are the natural way to distract your dog during the day or give their paws a break from typing up emails. Thank you, Red Barn, for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Okay, yes, so puppy pads are convenient, but sometimes they're really gross. That's why Ladybug, the Animal Radio Studio stunt dog, uses the Brilliant Pad self-cleaning puppy pad. It seals away the waste and replaces the dirty pad for us. Brilliant Pad keeps the Animal Radio Studios smelling fresh. In fact, all we have to do is replace the roll once every few weeks. And let me tell you, that's pretty fast and easy to do. I love it, and Ladybug gives it 5 paws up. You can learn more about this amazing machine over at brilliantpad.com.
Hey, this is Big Ant from Rescue Inc. Remember, spay and neuter your animal, and abusers are losers. Now back to Animal Radio.
Live at the Red Barn Studios, you're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
I'm actually in a great read. This is a Kindle book. It's about pugs, and I just learned that in Italy, the pug breed is generally known as the Carlin.
The Carlin?
They call it the Carlin after the famous actor.
That's not where it came from, but...
I'm just reading this from your book. It's not where it came from, but that's what they call it there. This is Dr. Debbie's book, by the way, if people want to check it out. It's available over at Kindle along with other books. I'm only into the pug one right now, but she has one on Yorkshire Terriers, Shih Tzus, and mini Schnauzers. How to be your dog's best friend. And they're over at Kindle, and of course we have links from animalradio.pet. And we're just a few minutes away from finding out about this whole rapture thing and what happens to our pets. There is a service that will take care of your pets after the rapture. I have so many questions. I'm sure you do too. So that's on the way in just a couple of minutes. We'll also be taking your calls. Lori, what are you working on?
We'll give you the latest on a case where they thought that 4 of these cats, and 2 of them are kind of famous because they hold world records, they thought that these 4 cats died in a house fire. But now there's a $100,000 reward going on in connection with them, so we'll tell you what's happening.
That's on the way. Let's go to the phones for your calls.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, how can we help you?
Well, my dog is really obsessive with me.
Obsessive?
We got her out of an animal shelter last year, and she's deaf. She can't hear. But she just clings to me, and wherever I go, she's got to be there. Is that okay, or...
How is she when she's with you?
Oh, she just lays down beside me.
Okay. And if you're not with her, how does she behave?
Well, the wife says she'll sit at the door and whine if I go out of the house. I'm a truck driver, so she's with me 99% of the time in the truck.
Yeah, and I guess the answer to that is it's only a problem if we're presented with a situation that it becomes a problem. Because if she's calm with you and she can be with you most of the times, then that's fine. The problem we run into is when the pet has to be away at the animal hospital or at home or in some other situation. There's a lot of anxiety with that. So it's not healthy in those situations. And I would say I encourage people to train pets to be independent of the human in their life. Not that we want them to ignore us, but we want them to have a strong, independent ability to take care of themselves. And it's a little more challenging with a deaf dog because they are a little bit more reliant on us for some of the cues that they need to know how to get around in their world. But there's no reason you can't teach a deaf dog to be a bit independent, and it's mostly we want to reward relaxed behavior, so we don't want her to get anxious and kind of jumping up on us and then pick the doggy up, because that actually teaches that, get anxious, act crazy, and then we'll pick you up and get what you want. So you do want to kind of try to train some of these behaviors and reward the calm behaviors. So it's not probably ideal for what's going on in her world, but, if she's happy and content and you don't think you'll be faced with problems when she's separated from you, then just know that can present a problem down the road, and your wife may call you and say, "What the heck? Get back here right now. She can't live without you." And that's when it becomes a problem.
Well, she goes with me all the time anyway. Wherever I go, she goes, because the wife says that she don't want to stay home with her. So if I go uptown, she goes in my pickup. Or if I go on the motorcycle, she goes on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
She also likes to ride the lawnmower with you, you had mentioned earlier?
She likes riding my lawnmower. If I'm mowing the lawn, she wants to ride with me.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, well, she sounds like a cutie there. It's
an apricot poodle. We got her out of a rescue center, and we've had her for about a year now, and she hasn't got many teeth left, and she can't hear. And if I feed her, she won't eat her soft dog food, but if I feed her by hand, she'll eat it. It's like a treat then.
I got one of those.
Yeah. Well, she sounds like she has definitely found the right adoptive family. So, I mean, she's found her little niche, and she knows who her world is, and you're right in the center of it there.
Well, being a truck driver, it's company on the road, and she just loves it. I mean, she loves to ride. I couldn't believe I found some dog out of a pound that loves to ride. She just loves it.
They're better than humans, aren't they?
Yeah. I love her.
I think we all know what I'm talking about. You may think it's ludicrous what I'm saying.
Well, she doesn't ask, are we there yet?
Yeah. No, she doesn't. She gives you that unconditional love. We appreciate your call, Ron.
Okay, she don't bark either.
Oh, of course not. Except when you're gone and you've left her with your wife.
Well, no, she don't bark at all.
Oh.
She can't hear herself bark, so she don't know she's barking.
Oh.
So she don't bark.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
She's on a higher plane of mental communication, so she's far more advanced than us mere humans.
Yeah, let's take some notes from her. Well, thanks for calling, Ron.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's Alan Cable with Real Dogs Doing Amazing Things. This one only weighs 10 pounds.
Me and my little sister were making mud pies, and I hear a hiss and a rattle, and I look down and there's a snake.
These two kids were inches away from a venomous rattlesnake.
He was already curled up.
He was coiled and ready to strike, and he tried to, but his bite missed its mark.
Tycho, he got in front of me, and the snake bit him.
This little 10-pound dog took a rattlesnake bite in his right eye.
I mean, he saved her life.
This family is so thankful. All they can do now is wait for the swelling to go down to see if the dog's eye will be okay. Another amazing story out of Baltimore when police were called about a vicious pit bull. Folks said he was terrorizing the neighborhood. The officer who responded is a dog lover, and he followed the pit bull into an alley. All the dog wanted to do was lick him. The officer got into the back of the patrol car with the dog, and they drove him to the shelter, but when they got there, he couldn't turn the dog in. He brought the dog home to his other two dogs, and they all seemed to be getting along just fine.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
Hey, don't forget you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Download it now. It's made possible by Fear-Free Pets, taking the pet out of petrified. Visit them at fearfreehappyhomes.com.
You love your dog. Is something bothering him or her and you can't figure out what it is? Maybe they seem slow or lethargic, and maybe they just don't have energy. Wouldn't you like your dog to be living their very best life? PetJoy offers a money-back guarantee on all of its products. If your dog won't eat it or you don't see the results you want, just let us know and we'll make it right. Totally risk-free. What do you have to lose? You can't buy PetJoy multivitamins in a store. The only way you can get them is through this unique radio offer. And if you call right now, learn how to get 2 bottles free with your order. Turn your dog's life around and make him or her a happy camper. Ain't that right, boy? He said call PetJoy right now. 800-451-1359. 800-451-1359. 800-451-1359. That's 800-451-1359.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
Did you guys hear about 2 world record-holding cats? And they've got 2 other world record-less females, or rather feline siblings. And they were all thought to have died in a house fire near Detroit last month. But they have, the good news here, been spotted near their former home. And now there is a $25,000 reward if you find any one of those cats, or of course that would be $100,000 if your tip leads to the capture of all 4 of them. Will and Lauren Powell are the pet parents of the cats. You can stay up to date on the case by following his Facebook page. The cats are obviously, like most of us, like the family's children. And these cats are kind of famous. One is a Guinness World Record holder with a tail measuring 17.5 inches long. Their other male youngster, only 2 years old, is 20.1 inches tall. And that's another world record for a cat. The cats, by the way, just had appeared on the talk show Pickler and Ben before that fire happened. So anyone who sees the cats is asked to take a photo, do not approach them, and then call or text the family. And we have that information here. Veterinarians, Dr. Debbie, of course I thought of you when I read this story. You guys see the most amazing things. Did you hear about this vet in Oklahoma who operated on a dog that really wasn't feeling well after it, I guess somebody had actually witnessed it, eating its human sibling's pacifier? So the vet really, could have made a ton of money had he charged for each pacifier that he would later take out of that dog's belly, because there ended up to be a total of 21. Yes, 21 binkies. 21 pulled from the 4-year-old Shar-Pei's belly. And you can imagine how surprised the family was, because the pre-op x-rays had shown there might have been between 7 and 9 of them inside the dog.
Yeah, they don't
21?
show always very well on x-ray. That's part of it, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's crazy.
Dr. Debbie, you occasionally post x-rays of things that are found in dog stomachs, and you ask for people to find out what they are or say what they are. Identify.
Yeah, we like to quiz people on that just to see if they can identify it. So we had, army men. I had a cat that ate like 3 or 4 of those koosh balls.
Ooh.
Swallowed them.
What is the weirdest thing you've seen?
The weirdest thing, I think, is when you start to get into cutlery.
Oh,
ow. So, dogs tend to eat, especially around the holidays when we have things that we have to carve. We have knives out. So, yes, I've seen parts of cutlery make it down into the stomach. And that's always just amazing that something that's so sharp can make it through without causing so much damage. Fortunately, in that situation, that was witnessed at the time, and it was known, so it was promptly dealt with.
Good.
So keep your stuff off the floor, right? I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Hey, it's Alan Cable. Got an email from a listener. How do I stop my dog from jumping on people? That's a pretty common problem. Chances are you're unwittingly rewarding your dog for jumping on you. I was at the dog park the other day. There was a nice lady there. We got into a conversation. She kept going, "Go ahead, play, come on, to her dog. And I finally said, your dog is playing. Every time you say that, you're confusing him because he runs over and jumps on you. He's already doing what you want and doesn't know what you want him to do. He's going to play on his own. All you have to do is stand there. And he really doesn't understand what you're saying. It was interesting for me. I could see the confusion in her dog, but she couldn't. He was already playing with another dog. And every time she started saying this stuff, he stopped to run over and jump on her. Dogs don't understand your sentences. They do get your tone, though, whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood. So when the dog was jumping on her, she was getting more excited with her voice, but shooing him away with her hands. So he's confused. It's just all confusing. I'm confused. Anyway, if your dog is jumping on you and other people, especially when you're greeting him, don't speak to him in a positive manner. Make sure there are no rewards for your dog when he's jumping on you or other people. Even dog lovers who tell you they don't mind your dog's jumping, tell them no. Dogs can't distinguish between, I can jump on him, but I can't jump on her. We always talk about setting your dog up for success, so think about how you'd be setting your dog up for failure if you scolded him for jumping on one person, but rewarded him for jumping on you or another. Wouldn't that be unfair and confusing and create anxiety in you if you were that dog? Well, that's what it does. So if your dog jumps on you when you get home, make it a non-event. Don't talk to your dog. Don't greet him for about 15 minutes after you get home. Then when you do say hi, bend over and pet him at his level. This way he doesn't have to jump on you. And finally, teach your dog the sit and off commands. You do this by correcting your dog quickly and sternly when he jumps on you. And then when he sits, you tell him he's a good dog.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It is Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets. And during this lifetime, I expect to spend a lot of time with my pets. I think I should spend at least half the day with each one of my animals.
Half the day?
Yeah, and this whole work thing to pay the rent and all of that. Frankly, I think I got to get rid of that because I'm not spending enough time with my animals. Because how long is life going to last? You never know. The rapture could come at any time.
The rapture.
And you could Wikipedia.
Wait. Have you been? Are you on any cold medications or something? Because this is not the Hal I know.
No, I've been speaking to Pastor Travis Davis. Hi, Pastor. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing, sir?
Very good. You are also the CEO of an organization called Pets After Rapture. I'm sure you're going to go check that out while we're talking here and Google it. What do you guys do over there?
So the beautiful thing with us is you can actually subscribe to PetsAfterRapture.com, and your name will be placed on the list. So people who are non-believers can actually come get your pets after the rapture takes place. So we're really the middleman between your pets and the animal-loving non-believers who will be around after the rapture to take care of them.
Well, wait. Aren't my pets going in the rapture too?
Well, biblically, it doesn't say anything that God's going to take care of pets. I mean, we all don't know, but the issue is my wife and I love our animals to death, and they require attention. And let's say the rapture happens at 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. My dog's going to be locked in a cage, and my other dog will be stuck in a room until God knows how long someone can come save them. And if they don't get their medication, if they don't get help, they could die up there. And so we wanted to create something to help these animals in need, which is important to us.
Okay, I'm not very religious, I'll admit it. Explain what the heck the rapture is to me.
So the rapture is a time in which Jesus comes for the loyal people. So we don't know when the rapture is going to happen. A lot of people say it's a time in tribulation, about 7 years. It's going to happen pre-tribulation. So most of what we would call things that need to be fulfilled happens. Is already been fulfilled. So there's going to be a tribulation. Before that, God's going to come, and he's going to take all the people that believe in him, that have accepted him into his heart, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and they're going to be taken away just in a quick instance. And everyone left who doesn't believe in God will still be here on the planet. And it doesn't say anywhere where they're going to take my faithful rocket in Kona, so they'll be left with the non-believers down here.
So let me get this straight. You offer a service, so when the rapture comes and we disappear wherever we go, that somebody takes care of my pet afterwards.
Correct.
Well, who's going to take care of my pet? I guess the non-believers, right?
Well, there's a lot of non-believers that love animals. So what we do is we're the middleman between them. So non-believers will come to the site and they sign up. And let's say you live in Los Angeles, California. I'm going to pair a non-believer in the area that is going to take care of your pet. And then no one knows the non-believer's names. You're not going to know the person that's going to be working with your pet. Everything is kept confidential. But when that happens, I actually have an atheist on staff, and their entire job when this happens is to send out the emails, and the non-believers will come get you. Now, if there's not a non-believer in your area, there's certainly a no-kill shelter in your area, which will pair up. So the no-kill shelter will get the information, and they will go out to get your animal, which is awesome.
So are there any fees involved? Are the non-believers paid for this service?
Yeah, I'm getting my credit card out right now. How much is this going – no, seriously, how much is this going to cost me?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. It's a subscription-based service, so it's $10 a month, and that covers your pet, and that covers our situations. We have teams that are always trying to figure out non-believers. Are they going to be there? We're always on a moment standby. If you want to do multiple animals, you can do $15 a month, and that will cover all your animals, and we'll find placements for all your animals.
So what if I have a special needs animal or medication? How do I leave instructions? Where do I leave instructions? How will someone know how to care for that pet?
So if you click Save My Pet, you're going to be taken to a form, and in that form, it asks you, give us special instructions on how to take care of the pet as well as what the medication is, and you can leave that in there, and the caretaker is going to get that information. So when they adopt that pet, they have all the specific instructions and everything that they need. So that's all in the form to fill out.
So for non-believers, do you have any job openings?
I have one atheist on staff at the moment. And his entire job is after the rapture. Of course, he doesn't think it's going to happen, but after the rapture, he has to go in there and send these emails out. That's his entire job. So at the moment, no more job openings. However, if you want to volunteer, you're more than welcome to sign up at petsafterrapture.com.
How many people have signed up so far?
We have a little under, I'd say we're in the 200 to 300 person mark between people who want to save their pets and non-believers that want to help pets.
We are with Pastor Travis Davis and the founder of Pets After Rapture. And he's offering a service to take care of your pets after the big rapture.
You love your dog. Is something bothering him or her and you can't figure out what it is? Maybe they seem slow or lethargic, and maybe they just don't have energy. Wouldn't you like your dog to be living their very best life? PetJoy offers a money-back guarantee on all of its products. If your dog won't eat it or you don't see the results you want, just let us know and we'll make it right. Totally risk-free. What do you have to lose? You can't buy PetJoy multivitamins in a store. The only way you can get them is through this unique radio offer. And if you call right now, learn how to get 2 bottles free with your order. Turn your dog's life around and make him or her a happy camper. Ain't that right, boy? He said call PetJoy right now. 800-451-1359. 800-451-1359. 800-451-1359. That's 800-451-1359.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Cujo was a frisky 7-year-old golden retriever when he snuck out of his owner's backyard in July. His trip to freedom took him on a journey that could be made into a movie. Cujo's now home with his owner Noreen Bazuski in St. Louis, who calls his homecoming a miracle. Cujo somehow ended up 120 miles away in Colombia in the home of an elderly woman. When the woman went into a nursing home, Cujo was sent to the Humane Society. Dirk's Fund, a golden retriever rescue group, spotted Cujo, now named Willie, and arranged to have him brought back to St. Louis. They had his matted coat shaved and had his infected ears treated and some cysts removed. Noreen's brother-in-law just happened to go to the Dirk's Fund website to look for a dog to adopt and saw Cujo, with his heart-shaped white mark and white feet. And an even stranger fact is this brother-in-law and wife were the original breeders of Cujo. Cujo had never been forgotten by his original family. Kayla, who was only 4 when he left, continued to hang his stocking up every Christmas, saying she could feel in her heart that he wasn't gone. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It is Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets and before and after the rapture. And we are with Pastor Travis Davis, and he has a brand new organization called Pets After Rapture, and he will take care, for a fee, he will take care of your pets after the rapture.
What do you do with the money, Reverend, during the time between now and then, if it's so simple?
Yes. Yeah, so a lot of it goes back to the community. A lot of it goes, we partner with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and we push a lot of money that way. We want to make sure that the money that does come in, that we can actually help animals, that we can work with animals, that we can give animals that get left behind, or that are afraid, or that are beaten, that are in poverty. I mean, these animals are just like my two dogs. I love my dogs. My dogs are like my kids, although I do have two kids as well. So a lot of it goes back into the community, which is nice.
Joey, you had a question?
Yeah, my question is this. Now, when you read the book of Revelations, okay, the earth is supposed to be in such turmoil at that point. What is my guarantee that someone is actually going to go be checking on my pets when there is so much turmoil going on in the world? I mean, what's my guarantee at this point, especially if it is something that I'm going to, that I'm eventually going to pay for?
Joey, that's a great question. I like to say that there's three things that are guaranteed in life. There's death, there's taxes, and then there's rapture, right? That's a pastor joke. But
you know what? I was hoping that we'd hear little pastor jokes today.
Of course. So, Joey, there's no guarantee that they're going to help. So that's why I don't pay these people, because I don't want someone to come and just make a couple dollars here and there. And there's a form they fill out. And I actually call them and I interview them and I talk to them. And I want to make sure that they're good-minded, sounded people, that they're actually going to do the job. Now, the world does say it's going to be in chaos, but the first 3.5 years will be hit and miss. When it happens, it's going to be in chaos initially. But the first 3.5 years, it'll kind of be all over the place. And then the Antichrist is going to come at 3.5 years. And then from there, the world will start to get a little bit better, because the Antichrist is going to unite everyone. And then when the 7-year mark happens, it's not so good.
You know what? I think it might have actually started.
I don't think so yet, personally, but, you never know. We never know what's going to happen. But here's the thing. If you think about it, guys, ultimately you can either have no one to go help your pets, or you can have kind of insurance-esque type something there to help them. So it's 50-50. It's not for everyone, but we want to make sure that we provide a service.
And how do we have proof of your religiosity so we know that you really are somebody who has goodwill toward pets?
Good question, Lori.
Yeah, great. So you can always call the Pets After Rapture number, and if I don't answer, leave a message. But I would love to talk to anyone, and especially about God, because this is another thing to try to not only just save pets, but to bring people to the religion. So if you have questions or you don't know and you have an issue, just go to petsafterrapture.com, go to the phone number, call it. If I don't answer, leave a message, and I would love to talk to you about Jesus, because, that's my primary focus, is to spread the word of the gospel.
Pastor Travis Davis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you guys. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself.
Okay, I said that Amazon had the story of the decade with their new Amazon pet profile.
Yeah.
That Pastor Travis, that is the most ingenious idea. And weren't we just talking about cannabinoids or cannabis and THC and stuff?
Yes. We've actually
been
you
trying. Guys didn't know that Joey Villani knows the questions to ask, because he does go to church every Sunday and sometimes on Wednesday and does read his Bible. So that's why I had to ask. Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
That's why I had to ask that question, because just yesterday, believe it or not, I was reading Revelations, and that's what they're saying. It's going to be supposed to be nuts. So I don't think anyone listen. If it's as bad as they say it's going to be, I ain't checking on nobody's dog.
Sorry, I hope that we don't appear insensitive to folks who do have a religion. It just it seemed like if you are that religious, we all do have our own spirituality, but it just seemed like you wouldn't be that concerned. I don't know. There was just a link missing but it's, I think, a darn good idea somewhere along the line.
See, if I was that religious, I would expect my pet to come with me.
They're coming with us.
Yes.
They're coming with us.
Yes.
You know.
Well, it's time for us to go. We hope you had a lot of fun today. Remember, if you need your fix during the week, head over to our website, animalradio.pet, or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. Have yourself a great week.
This is Animal Radio Network.